This video is going out to Seth Demoor. Seth, I just want to say, number one, I really love your channel. Keep doing what you're doing. Secondly, I used to run the Naples, Florida half marathon every year. I ran it in honor of a dear friend of mine, a triathlete that died suddenly of a glioblastoma brain tumor at a very young age, and I used to run it every year for him. Haven't run it the last 2 years, mainly because I've been training for my favorite half marathon, the Indianapolis mini marathon. So if you haven't run that one, make sure you do. But in any case, wanted to share this video with you, and feel free to use this technique anytime if you have time during your training to give it a try. I notice when you tie your shoes, you tie a typical classic double knot, and I don't know if you're like me, but when I used to tie that kind of a knot, I would get done at the end of a half marathon or a marathon. I'd be dead tired, and without fail, I'd have trouble getting the knot out, which is a pain in the butt. So I thought I'd share this with you. It's called a Berluti, Berluti knot. It's a knot that I learned for dress shoes, and what it basically amounts to is the ability to have a double knot that does not release, and you'll see the technique here in a second. It does not release, but ironically, it basically holds. And if you're like me and you've used dress shoes before in the past, you know that when you tie them, if you don't do a double knot, they definitely will eventually start loosening up and come untied. It's a nuisance. So this knot is a beautiful double knot, very flush to your shoes, which is nice, very low drag, and it does not come loose. You'll see with this technique, because you're putting the loops in opposite directions, your motion actually tends to pull them tighter, which is nice. So anyway, you've also shared the extra eyelet, how that works, what you call the runner's knot, and I do use that. Thank you very much. So I'm going to return the favor and share this one with you. So I'll close in on this, get up nice and close so you can see the technique. So the technique I'm going to show you is called a Berluti, B-E-R-L-U-T-I, a Berluti knot. This knot was created for dress shoes, obviously Italian dress shoes. If you wear dress shoes frequently like I do, it's frustrating because they're always coming loose. And ever since I learned this technique, once I learned this technique, I've never had my dress shoes coming untied, which is great. But the beauty of this knot is twofold. Number one, it's a very low profile knot. Number two, it's simple to release when you're done. So let me go ahead and show it to you. Basically, we start out with your technique, where we basically use the additional eyelet, what I believe you call a runner's knot, and we basically use that to snug everything up. Okay, then we take our laces and we do our normal first loop through and tighten. Then we take two good size loops. I recommend two decent size loops here so they're easy to follow. And then basically what you're going to do is take the left side loop, go over the right side, and I'm going to hold this package with my left thumb and forefinger. What we are now going to do is take this loop on the right side and the right side loose lace, and we're going to basically go through the back side of the opening of that hole in the middle. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab that bundle with my thumb and forefinger. We're going to do the same thing on the left side, but this time we're going to come through the top, through the front, if you will. And so we're going to drag the loop and the loose lace through the front of that opening. And remember, make sure that both pieces come through. Now, what I do to make this knot nice and clean, especially with my dress shoes, is I make sure these two loose laces are in front and draped down like that, nice and clean, kind of out of the way. And then I basically just pull the two loops apart. I just pull the two loops, and what you see now is this beautiful double knot, okay? And then basically it's low profile, so it's not this big bulky double knot we typically end up with. It's a nice, clean, low profile double knot, and it also is an easy release. This, because of the way we did this, it's actually pulling against itself. It will not come loose. It actually, ironically, with the motion of your foot, will actually pull it tighter. It's not going to get dramatically tighter, but it's not going to loosen. It's going to keep on wanting to get tighter. And so the point here is, when you're done with your run and you're tired and you just want to get these shoes off your aching feet, instead of fussing with this double knot, which tends to be a pain in the butt, as you probably are aware, this is a very simple release, just like standard shoelaces. One caveat though, be careful. If the loose lace somehow works itself in between the loop any of the loops, okay, it will cause it to knot up. So before you pull this apart, make sure that these loose laces did not work their way into and through one of the loops. Make sure they're clear. And as long as they are clear of the loops, it's just this simple, just like a regular knot. You just pull these two apart and it's out. And there you go. That is a Berluti knot. I'd love to share this with you, and if you get a chance to try it and it works, feel free to share this with your, you don't have to share the video, but feel free to share the technique with your avid fans. I know people like, I know your fans are very avid and very interested in what you have to do. If this works for you, feel free to share it. And again, keep up the good work, Seth. Love what you do. I wish I could watch more of your videos. Unfortunately, I have been working fairly steadily since June, so I've not been able to keep up with it as much as I did during the beginning of the COVID. But nonetheless, Godspeed to you. Great luck in Naples, and hopefully one of these years I'll see you in Indianapolis in early May. First Saturday in May, the largest half marathon in the world. The Indianapolis 500 Festival Mini Marathon. Love to see you there.